Junie is a highly motivated learner who struggles with emotional expression. Her peers don't consider her as a result of this. Then there's an accident in her chemistry class. Her instructor is concerned about the other girl, but because she doesn't show her feelings, no one sees that she was also harmed. She's the center of envy as they go over the notes. She pats her kitty pin softly. When she doesn't answer when Professor Curie asks her if that is her only friend, he calls her into his office and the girls go crazy. Since English was the only subject she failed, he immediately offers to teach her the language. He asks her whether she did it to be at his side, which irritates her, but she clenches her hand to hide her feelings. She shows up for her first lesson with the teacher, but she leaves since she can't grasp the way he's teaching things. However, he stops her. She flees since he is too near and uneasy. When her instructor and cousin ask her how she did when she comes home, she just replies, "Fine." He suggests that she work harder at it in the hopes of receiving an overseas scholarship. Since they work together, her cousin compliments the English instructor at school for assisting her with her academics. He hands her a notepad filled with notes for her second class. Although this helps her understand him much better, her peers are envious of her. They then approach his office requesting private lessons, but he informs them that since her English is so superb, they are not in need of them. The director then alerts him of rumors involving a pupil, but he dismisses them all and walks out. When he returns to resume his lessons, he notices that she is squirming and advises her to settle down. He asks if it makes her uneasy since he can tell she is clenching her fist and suppressing her feelings. He then tells her not to misinterpret him and that he has no interest in her, while they continue to look at one another. She informs him fiercely that neither does she. Before we go any further, I would like to ask that you subscribe to the channel if you are new to it, and more importantly, turn on the small bell so that you are notified whenever I post a new video. Let's go on now. She is then tricked by her pupils into believing that she has stolen their teacher's affection, but she keeps this to herself. After beating her, they imprisoned her. Her foot hurts as she attempts to flee via a window. She stays mute as the professor saves her and walks away without saying anything. Everyone looks on in shock as he picks up on her hurt and carries her in his arms. He tends to her wound at the hospital, stroking her on the head multiple times as he urges her to be open about her feelings. She cherishes her outfit at home since it smells like her dear instructor. She then shops for a present to offer him as a token of appreciation for his assistance. She emphasizes that it was only a gift and, sobbing, chooses to leave when he tells her he can't take it and begs her not to misunderstand. The principal calls her back the next day. The principal gives her an order to complete the additional class when her students inform her that the rumors are spreading. The classes are now ended, he informs her. She looks at him as he instructs her. She then returns to the location where she had previously instructed him and begins to listen to the teaching she had recorded. He cuts her off and tells her to go home. Unable to articulate her emotions, she flees bewildered. He suggests that she declare her feelings after she reads a book about love in the bookshop, where she is seeking knowledge about love. She was prepared to announce her love when the professor arrived to teach his lectures, but she chose to sit down after observing her friend's anxious expressions. She considers how to accomplish it during the break, and when class started, her seat was empty. She feels the instructor beneath the desk and extracts her notepad, which said, "I admire you, what should I do?" He deliberately drops his pencil and, bending over, plants a gentle kiss on her. However, a new instructor saw them. After that, when they are by themselves, he urges her to move on from the incident and apologizes for what happened, saying that it was an error. The new instructor is then presented to him. She turns out to be a childhood friend of his. Remarkably, after exchanging stories about their life, she gives him a kiss. Here we find out that she used to play the role of his girlfriend when she was younger. Then, she tells him that she witnessed the kissing encounter. She encourages him to exercise caution since he can lose his job when he admits that it was an error. When the instructor discovers the following day that she is observing them, she deliberately approaches her. The kids remark that they form a nice couple, and she flees out of jealousy. She approaches him and informs him that he requested her to be honest with him about her emotions. He advises her to move on from the incident because her emotions are fleeting. She tells him she doesn't understand in an irate manner and leaves. He thinks about it and goes to find her, but she's already gone, leaving him heartbroken. When her students try to open a newspaper the following day, she grabs it away from them. The owner of the journal, Matoba, shows up and expresses gratitude for her finding it. She faints unexpectedly, and the professor swiftly catches her in his arms. Later in the hospital, he requests the kid to keep her identity a secret from her as a token of gratitude for finding her journal. When Matoba asks her out on a date and he extends an invitation to lunch, she is unsure of how to say no. The professor notices her uncomfortable standing next to Matoba when she goes for a walk with her companion the following day. Though they could notice him, her companion stops him from interrupting them. She is abruptly taken away by a guy under a hood, revealing to us that the professor was alone himself. Confused, she warns him not to mess with her sentiments as she walks away, leaving him alone himself after confessing her love to him. The instructor instructs him to go outdoors when she looks in on him the following day while he is eating breakfast. He invites her to accompany him. He tells her he wants to be married once she graduates as they arrive at a stunning beach. Startled, she agrees to his suggestion. He tells them that if they found out, they would both be sacked and kicked out of the house. They were about to greet one another at school when something interrupts them. He sends for her after class, but he only brings her a book. Disappointed that they are unable to express their emotions, she withdraws and apologizes while giving her a hug. When the instructor notices them, she snaps a photo of them, which she then gives to her tutor and cousin. His classmate hears him complain. The instructor admits his love for her, but his cousin informs him that he will be approaching the administration since he does not support their connection. However, a co-worker informs him that the Proda improved her English proficiency and will be eligible for the overseas scholarship. The professor phones her out of the blue in the evening. She rushes to hug him, feeling secure by his side, as he assures her that he will make her smile throughout her life. She informs her cousin after she gets in that she doesn't want to study abroad, and he becomes upset since he knows the teacher is to blame. The instructor is called into the principal's office in the morning when he is accused of being seen with the Proda. However, her cousin stands up for them, claiming that the whole thing is a fraud. The instructor acknowledges him outside for his assistance. The cousin says that she doesn't want to travel for her studies because of him and tells him that he did it for her so she wouldn't lose her scholarship. The following day, bewildered, he keeps a distance from her. They visit the same beach where he told her how he felt. But this time, he told her that he didn't truly love her in order to break up with her. He breaks down in tears as he informs his cousin that he will take the scholarship overseas. In the meantime, the instructor apologizes for what she did and admits to her buddy that she ratted him out. The day of the journey finally arrives. She's hoping her dear professor would arrive to intercept her. However, this does not occur, and she departs feeling quite depressed. As the professor, by himself, wishes her well on her travels, the professor finds her in the corridor some months later, much to his astonishment, but she grabs his hand and leads him out. Later, when they are sitting on the beach, she tells him that she now gets him and that she realizes what he said was a lie because he did it so she could finish her education. She then urges him to wait for her so they may spend the rest of their lives together, but when he doesn't respond, she gives him a firm grip on the hand. He stops her, gives her a hug, and declares his undying love for her before giving her a tender kiss. This lovely tale comes to an end now.